The college basketball experience, Butler Bulldogs 2022-23 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks, presented by WinBet. Bet $100 at WinBet and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WinBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today.
What's up, everybody? This is Cameron Krog from Loyola Chicago Ramblers, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride. Shout out to the Broad Stop. Thank you, guys.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college basketball experience. Butler Bulldogs 2022-23 season preview episode. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dad, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink, and I don't have stress, and I'm healthy.
College hoop season less than a month away, and you know I get excited for that. I love the Butler Bulldogs. I have been to that one of the better stadiums in all of college basketball, Hinkle Fieldhouse. And we'll talk more about that in a second, but yes, college basketball right around the corner. And if you're brand new to the college basketball experience, subscribe and tell a friend. We are also live on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. And, well, I mean, when the season tips on November 7th, all the way to the final game of the season, you will hear me every single night. We've been handicapping games on the college basketball experience for the past 5 years. Never had a losing season, but also just we love college basketball. So we'll be talking, every single night, what games do we think the best bets are for the next day, but also what's the best rivalry? What game can't we wait to see? So, it's not all the way 100% gambling. Yes, a lot of it is, but if you're just a college hoops fan, I think you'll dig it too. And you'll see, if you're just getting into the sport, I highly recommend it, because we'll highlight what games you should be watching each night and every night. And a lot of them might be the Butler Bulldogs. I am super excited to talk about this team because actually, I went to a game a couple years ago, and I was with NC Nick, and we actually sat right next to Thad Matta, who was at the game as a fan watching the game. And Thad Matta, I thought never should have got axed at Ohio State. He's a fantastic coach for the national championship game. Remember, with Greg Oden and the Buckeyes there, and he's done a fantastic job. And I think he's a great coach. So last year he was with the University of Indiana and their athletics department, assistant athletic director, something like that. But he's been out of coaching since 2017, and Butler obviously decides to go a different route after a couple iffy seasons. And now in comes Thad Matta. They were able to hire Thad Matta. I was hypothesizing this before they actually got him, because I said, oh, what a great, I get it. Lavelle Jordan's gone, but what a great get this could be. And Jordan didn't do a horrible job. It's just 3 losing seasons out of 5. It was time for a change. So Thad Matta comes in, which I thought was a fucking home run hire. I thought, like, whoa, it's like they listened to me. I like to think that. My ego likes to think that, but I mean, anywhere this first off, he's been at Butler before as a head coach. All right. And I know it was just a 1-year run at 24-8 before he jumped over to Xavier and then Ohio State. But he's a fantastic coach, and he proved that in that 1 year. Also, this is a guy that played at Butler. Yes, if you go back, back from 87 to 90, Thad Matta played at Butler. So it makes a lot of sense. it makes a lot of sense here. The hire, obviously, he was an assistant from 91 to 94. If anyone knows the area, it's going to be him. And then if he was already attending the games, hey, you made the right call. Now he takes over a team that is, you pull up the numbers from a season ago. You could say, they were 293rd in adjusted offense, 210th in adjusted defense. Very un-Butler like. They were also 333rd there's only like 360 teams. So that's shooting the three. That is not like Butler basketball that I know. They were just all over the place. They were not a good shooting team. 337th in general field goal percentage. 302nd in field goal percentage. But you go stat by stat, 247th from the free throw line. It's hard to see the positives from a season ago, but the good news is that you look at this at what is left the program. Well, I mean, some good players did leave. You look at Bo Hodges, he's gone. 10 points per game, 7 boards, just about 1.1 steals, gone. Bryce Nze, just about 9 points. I know he was always injured. It seemed like just about 7 boards, gone. Aaron Thompson, gone. Jair Bolden, gone. Ty Groce, gone. Also Bryce Golden transfers out. I mean, that was a pretty big loss there to Loyola, the Ramblers. So they did have some key departures, but like I said, for some reason they weren't working there. And what's great about college basketball in this day and age was, I guess depending on how you look at it from a coaching point of view, you don't have to wait 4 or 5 years to build your guys because you can be active in the transfer portal, bringing in players. I know from a fan standpoint, we just covered the Big 12. Some of that I hated. I hate seeing McCullough go to Kansas. Jalen Bridges go to Baylor, all within the conference. Thought it was weird. I still think it's weird, but I will say there is opportunity and to quickly improve. And by the way, we talk about this all the time on the College Football Experience. So subscribe to the College Football Experience. We talk college football year round over there. We talk college hoops year round over here. And Butler football, nice win against Dayton this past week. I know that dual threat quarterback Brett Bushka, great name there. He's playing good, and that's one thing I would love to see too is Butler emphasize more in football and bring up that program. I know they've been playing football for a long time, so I would love to see Butler spend a little bit more on the football program as well. Let's go. Let's get it up to FBS, baby. Let's go. But subscribe to the College Football Experience. And by the way, we come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. I want to talk about what Thad Matta has been able to do in the portal, and what this team will look like coming into 2022. Hopefully they stay injury free. But before I do all of that, I want to tell you folks out there that the College Basketball Experience Butler Bulldogs 2022-23 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WinBet. Bet $100 at WinBet and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by Fubo TV. If you love watching football and basketball, you need Fubo TV. Fubo TV gives you complete coverage of college and pro football and basketball. They got everything. NFL Red Zone. They got games in 4K at no extra charge. There's over 100 channels of live sports and entertainment for a fraction of the price of cable. You can watch it on all your devices. Never miss a game. Never miss an episode of your favorite show, because they have included cloud-based DVR. There's no contract. There's no commitment. You can cancel at any time. So right now you can try Fubo TV for free for 7 days and get 15% off your first month. Just go to FuboTV.com/SGP. That's FUBOTV.com/SGP. All right. Well, this is my point, and I've made this case now a lot on the College Football Experience if you listen to us over there, but you're going to hear me talk about this more on the College Basketball Experience. It is a new day and age in college sports. To me, you used to have to wait 4 or 5 years for your program to go. And I still think a long leash, can work out, but I do think, in this day and age, the coach should be able to bring in some guys and be able to work quickly to get better. And this is a perfect example of that happening. Now we haven't seen it executed yet on the hardwood, but I believe it will. Just to tip my hand a little bit there, look what they did in the transfer portal. First off, Chuck Harris, leading scorer from a season ago, 11.4 points per game. Kid's good. He flirted with leaving, but Matta was able to retain him and say, "Hey, come on, you can be a vital part of our success and the things that we can do here." And boom, Chuck Harris comes back to Butler. So some of that recruiting is with your own fucking players. So I thought that was monumental. Also, they do return Jaden Taylor, who I think could be a player to watch, to highlight as far as improvement from year to year. Taylor averaged 8 points a game, just a sophomore this season. So they also have, and I always butcher this guy's name, the sophomore Seamus Lucosius. Probably butchering that. He's back as a sophomore. And then Miles Wilmoth and so some other key guys. But here's what he did that I think every Butler fan should be excited about. I thought he hit a grand slam in the transfer portal. He goes out and he lands. Well, first Eric Hunter Jr. from Purdue. Things weren't working in West Lafayette, but we've seen Hunter be productive and be a good basketball player. I know they had a lot of cooks in the kitchen, it seemed like, around his position lately. So he leaves. That's a great get, an experience getting Eric Hunter Jr. just 6.2 points per game a season ago with the Boilermakers. But I think that's a really good get. Then, to me, I don't even know which one I think is the best one, but I can tell you this: all were great. He goes out and gets Ali from Akron, the Zips. All right. If you watch any Zip basketball, this kid's a stud. I was surprised at his skill level playing in the MAC. And I think the Big East better watch out, because I think he is a ball player. And I think the way with Matta coaching him, I think he's only going to get better. And I think this lineup is going to be pretty damn good. So he goes out and gets Hunter Jr., Ali from Akron, then Manny Bates from NC State. Now Manny Bates was dinged up, but what a huge get. We've, loved Manny Bates' potential with the Wolfpack, and to go get Manny Bates, 10 points per game, 6 boards. I think it's a great get. And then he gets center Jalen Thomas from Georgia State with the Panthers. I know, just 8 points a game, 6 boards, but this guy, I think they're going to be able to protect the rim really well with the height of this team. And to me, landing all 4 of those, yes, you lost Bolden to Loyola, but I think you dominated the transfer portal. And that's what I mean when you bring in a coach that can hire right away, or I'm sorry, go out and get his guys, because he's got a name. Thad Matta has coached in the national championship. He's got great success. He's got a pedigree that I think, I was surprised that more universities weren't calling him, trying to get him to get a job. Maybe they were, and we just don't know. But I expect Butler to rebound very quickly with Matta at head coach and this type of roster. So, and I touched on this. I'm projecting, if I had to guess, the starting 5 would be Harris and Hunter at the guards. Maybe you could talk me into something where, I think it's going to be Harris and Hunter. Then you got Ali at the 3, Manny Bates at the 4, Jalen Thomas at the 5, and then you have Jaden Taylor and Lucosius on the bench, and then you even have some other guys and Miles Wilmoth, DJ Hughes, Miles Tate, Pierce Thomas that I think will take a step forward in their development. They also have the lone freshman coming in, top 300 recruit at center, Connor Turnbull out of Missouri. I don't expect him to get on the hardwood a lot, but maybe a little bit of minutes. With maybe if they get in some foul trouble between Bates and Thomas, but either way, I think is a really good team. From like, I think they could really do some damage this year in the Big East. I think obviously it matters how fast can they buy into Matta's system. Obviously, these guys have not played for Thad Matta, but if they have a starting five like that, you can go. I think that's a really good starting five, and I even like the little bit of that bench depth. Watch out for Butler. I think you guys should be, if you're a Butler Bulldog fan, you should be very excited. I think in the Big East, we're in this era now. Jay Wright's out of Villanova. He retired. All right. So where would Butler go? Obviously Creighton seems loaded on paper, and they probably will. I think most preseason publications will have Creighton finishing first in the Big East. Then you have Kyle Neptune. Okay. I think he's going to do a good job. The hire makes sense to me, but a little bit of an unknown at Villanova. UConn, Dan Hurley's been doing a good job recruiting. They've had struggles in the postseason. Then you have Xavier. Sean Miller's back. I like that hire. I think he'll have them going. They're an experienced team, so I do think they'll be in the mix. Mike Anderson at St. John's, make or break year for him. Shaheen Holloway's now at Seton Hall. How will they look year one? Ed Cooley lost a lot off that Providence team. I mean, Patrick Ewing seems they're giving the long leash in DC there, and I think that team's going to be a lot better this year, a lot more competitive. Shaka Smart year 2 in Marquette, he overachieved in year 1. Can he do that again? And then you have Stubblefield at DePaul, which I was actually impressed with his first year. So this is a loaded conference. However, when I look at Butler, I think this team could be pretty good. I think they can compete for a top 3 or 4 spot in the Big East. I really do. I can't wait. I mean, the Big East is always so fantastic. Old Big East, new Big East, doesn't matter. It's always fantastic to watch Big East basketball. We're going to talk schedule and expectations for the out of conference schedule. Go through the biggest, the roughest patch in conference when conference play starts. As we talk Butler basketball, I want to tell you folks out there that the Butler Bulldogs 2022-23 season preview episode is brought to you by OddsTrader. OddsTrader is a place to compare odds from all the major sports books. You can also compare the different sign-up codes and promo codes from sportsbook to sportsbook to assure that you get yourself the best deal possible. The app also provides player stats, key game stats, injury reports, projected game day weather for bettors who make the most informed bets possible. It also has a bet tracker, so bettors can keep records of all your games and betting activity. So check out OddsTrader. Go to oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. OddsTrader, the #1 site for all your game day bets. All right, we are back talking Butler Bulldog basketball. I think they can compete, honestly, blindly right now. And like I said, we're doing all these previews. Things can change, but blindly, if you were to tell me, Colby, project the Big East. First off, I think that's one of the hardest conferences to project right now. I would go Creighton 1. I'll match you on talent there. I'll probably go Nova at 2. Then after that, and even that, because there's a little bit of an unknown with Nova, I think you can talk me into Xavier or Butler being the 3rd or 4th best team in that conference right now. Yes. Does that mean I am, you'd be able to pull this clip and make me look like a fool? Because I don't think there's a gigantic gap between 2 or 3 in the Big East and 9th or 10th. So this should be a wild one. Injuries could play a role. How fast can they grow up? How many new coaches do we have now in this conference? What I'm seeing, so with Nova, Xavier, Seton Hall, Butler, and then you've got, year 2, DePaul, Marquette, and then you got the hot seat watch at Georgetown and St. John's. It is going to be fantastic. It is going to be fantastic. So let's hop into it. I think Butler can be a team. I think they're a tournament team based off that roster. If they stay healthy, I think they can make the NCAA tournament. But let's get to the schedule, because on Monday, November 7th, New Orleans comes to Hinkle Fieldhouse. This game's on FS1. Shouldn't have a problem there. Shouldn't have a problem. Now the Gavitt tip off happening on November 14th, just a week later. So you get that one game. I know there's some exhibition games prior to all that, but I think they'll take care of New Orleans. And then there's that big one Monday, November 14th at Penn State. And you say, Kobe, is that a big one? Penn State hasn't been good since the Crispin brothers, right? True. But I do think Penn State's getting better. I like the Micah Shrewsbury hire. In this game on FS1, and this is just going to be our first sample size, I guess, for seeing this roster. So I do think is a critical game, and I think it's one they can win. And I kind of think they will win it. I do think Penn State will be improved, and it'll be. I'm interested to watch their growth in year 2 of Shrewsbury. But I'll say Butler will be 2-0. Then they have a home game on Fox Sports 2 against St. Francis. I think they should win that. I know St. Francis, they upset Pitt a couple years ago at Pitt. They should be 3-0. They should be 3-0. Then they have a Saturday, November 19th game on once again Fox Sports 2 against the Citadel. Watch out, Citadel's decent. SoCon basketball, I love that conference. One of the more underrated conferences in college basketball. They should be 4-0. I could also see 3-1. Penn State, the Citadel, even St. Francis. They should be 4-0. I think they're going to be 4-0. Then you got Battle for Atlantis there in the Bahamas. This game's on ESPN2. They get the Tennessee Vols and Rick Barnes. And this one, circle this one as a must-watch game on November 23rd, right before Thanksgiving. I love to fade Rick Barnes. Tennessee's. The question is how fast can Thad Matta get this squad going? I think Tennessee's the more talented team, but I could see Butler winning this game. It's an awesome game. Fucking awesome game. I'll go Tennessee right now. I'm trying to be realistic, but I if you know me, you know I love this hire, and I'm very excited about Butler basketball. After that, they'll get the winner of the or the loser of the BYU USC game, which once again. Two good opponents. So I if it's BYU, I think Butler has the better team. They're still capable of losing that game because I think BYU is still solid. They're a pretty good team. If it's USC, then I feel like you're getting a little more of a dogfight there, but I don't know. I mean, Pope's done a good job at BYU. And then after that, you're going to get the whoever the third opponent would be. All in all, I think in Battle for Atlantis, if you can go 2-1, or better, obviously, then I think Butler fans should be happy. 2-1. Worst case scenario would be winless because I do think the field is decent, but 2-1, I think what is what you should want there as they get BYU or USC, by the way, on Thanksgiving. Wow. Awesome. Then straight out of that. So basically through the month of November, well, no, there's one more big game as they go to Hinkle Fieldhouse to take on Jerome Tagg's new head coach at Kansas State. Nigel Pack's gone. He's at the Miami Hurricanes now. They went out, tried to bring in some transfer pieces from all around. It'll be interesting to see how fast Tang can get Kansas State going. It's in Hinkle. If it was in Manhattan, I would say maybe that'd be a trap game. I think in Hinkle, Butler gets that done. So through the month of November, realistically, I think a Butler basketball fan, I'm going to say best case scenario. Best case scenario, honestly, I think is undefeated, but I think, okay, give me one loss through the month of November. One loss, I think is a good scenario for Butler fans. A bad scenario would be if you lose the Penn State game, you lose to Tennessee, you lose to BYU, and then you lose to K-State. I don't think that will happen though. I don't think that'll happen. I got them sitting there at 7-1 in November, maybe 6-2. Then in December they get Tennessee Tech on December 3rd. That should be a win. That's at Hinkle. Then they get Yale at Hinkle on December 6th. You always got to watch out for those Ivy League schools. Watch out, but they should be good there. It should be 2 wins, and then they head to Berkeley, California. Wow, heading up to Berkeley to take on Mark Fox's squad, and that's one that should be talk about a guy at a hot seat as well. It's Mark Fox. It's a big year for him in Berkeley there. If he can grab some wins, it would be much needed.
Hippie Olympics. Doesn't matter who wins because they're all losers.
I think you gotta go Butler to win this game. Gotta go Butler to win this game. The game's on the Pac-12 network, by the way. Then, wow, early start. I mean, the Big East Conference play starts early on, and boy, is it fantastic. So out of conference, I really think 1 or 2 losses should be the reality for Butler Bulldog fans. It is year 1. Maybe you could talk me into a 3rd loss. All right. But I also think they could be rolling. That Tennessee game's huge. Saturday, December 17th, conference play starts. And I love the Big East. What a great slate of games, because they open up conference play at Hinkle against the UConn Huskies and Dan Hurley squad. This game is fantastic. I mean, just to give you an idea, because what I'm going to do is try to project what their record would be. Well, I gave you their out of conference record, what I think, but what is the toughest 3-game stretch that Butler fans should be circling? It's a grind in the Big East. They open up play home to UConn, at Creighton, and home to Providence, all before the new year. Those are their first 3 games. That's insane. That's awesome. That's awesome. College basketball fans like myself rejoice when we see that. However, if you're a Butler fan, you're like, damn, we couldn't have got DePaul in there. You know, I know DePaul is still solid, but okay, that's a tough 3-game stretch. Let me look at a couple others that are, I mean, I think I found the one. Man, it's just a tough grind. It's a tough grind throughout. I'm going to go ahead and say the stretch between January 13th and January 22nd. Brutal. Home to Nova on January 13th. Huge game. Home to Creighton. Gigantic wins for the resume for March. And then at UConn. I mean, what a 3-game stretch. Even after that, it's at Providence. It's fantastic. I think what would be a great season in year 1 for Thad Matta. I think, I do think this is a tournament roster. This is an NCAA tournament roster. I think they can be in the NCAA tournament. I think they should be in the NCAA tournament. If everyone stays healthy, I think they will. I would say you got to have a winning record. Especially within the Big East, I would say you look at their years. I mean, obviously you need a winning record out of conference too, but you look at their recent years in the Big East, they've struggled some. So what, 6-14 last year, 8-12 the year before. The year they were going to make the NCAA tournament, they were 10-8. So I think you got to do something like that again. 10-8. It's a grind. I think they're capable of doing it. Got to stay healthy. And as far as the NCAA tournament, how far could they go? I think that's always about matchups. You can get fortunate, but I don't know. Best case scenario, Sweet 16. I think worst case scenario, NIT. I don't know, something like that. But I'm super excited to watch this team. I'm a Butler fan. I enjoy this program, so cannot wait, folks. Subscribe to the College Basketball Experience, because we're previewing as many teams as we can before November 7th. We should get through all the power conferences, some of those elite mid majors. Also subscribe to the College Football Experience. Like I said, Butler football, let's get it going. Come on. 3-2 right now. I'm excited for the future. Been to that stadium there. So let's get it going. Let's get the program going. Let's get some money behind this. Or if you're listening, come on. Let's get the Butler program going, the football program going. Let's get them contending in the FCS, jumping to the FBS. I want to see it, folks. It's a brand new day and age in college athletics. So why not? Subscribe on YouTube, folks. The college football experience and the college basketball experience come together as one. YouTube.com/the college experience, or also even the college baseball experience as well. Check out the sports gambling podcast. Check out the NFL gambling podcast. What is it? NBA gambling podcast, NHL gambling podcast, MLB gambling podcast. Shit, CFL gambling podcast. What's the soccer gambling podcast? MLS gambling podcast, because we got the World Cup and we got MLS playoffs right now. Check it all out, folks. All right, cannot wait for the season to tip. Also, give us a follow on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. So do that, and also get over to iTunes, give us a 5-star review, and let us know how much you like the college basketball experience, because we've been lagging on the comments. Come on, this helps us get paid. It takes a minute out of your day, folks. So get over there and do that. And yeah, cannot wait for the season. Cannot wait to be talking to you guys every single day on actual games. Yes, I'll be talking to you every single day on these previews, but on actual games. So let's go. All right. This is the college basketball experience, Butler Bulldog style. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
Thank you. Well, this is a great way to get started. And I haven't even blocked all my kids yet. It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family.
Sometimes people that are standing on third base think they hit a triple.
Team speed, for Christ's sake.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
When we were winning conference titles and going to the Final Four, we were making a statement.
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? Your
back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
Coaching, our coaching did a horrible job. The players did a horrible job. We got our ass kicked in the second half.
Damn sick and tired of getting all rebounded. 25 offensive rebounds. First time we blocked out, we get called for it. Damn block out. I'm pushing people. Meanwhile, we're on the end of the court, grab the rebound, go over the top and grab them. We get one offensive rebound, then we get